Hello, hello. This is Hayden Morzik, the Director of Customer Success at TractIQ, and it's my pleasure to give you this very broad top-to-bottom walkthrough of every feature that we have within TractIQ. So if you are a brand new member of our community who is just getting started, this is a great walkthrough that covers top to bottom pretty much everything that we have in the tool. If you are someone who's already in our community and is using this as a resource just to learn a little bit more about what we have under the hood, then welcome to this conversation as well. So first things first, as soon as I log in, I will be taken to the dashboard here. Although if you are a fresh user, you're probably not going to have any deals saved like I have right here. The first thing that I want to call out are two different things. So first, if you click on this user info button on the top right, this will allow you to see how many data exports that you have. You can see when your limit resets and how many exports that you have and what subscription type that you have. You can also go and manage your account from this panel as well. If you are an admin user, you have the ability to add other members to your organization. So if I click on members and click invite, now I can invite my team via email and also designate if they have admin privileges or if they're just a member who's going to be using the core tool. I'm also able to adjust my own personal info from this page. A great resource to use as you navigate TractIQ is our Help Center. Our Help Center has articles for just about all of our features, any questions that you could particularly have about our data, our source methodology, our aggregation, you name it. So if you click on this question mark button up here at the top and then navigate to Help Center, this will bring you to that massive guide. So if I click on key features as an example, you can see that I have an article for every single one of our named features. Let's just take the prospecting tool as an example. If I wanted to read up about this, I could read this article, watch that 3-minute, very short video explaining how it works, and also look at some imagery about how it functions, what data it has, and so on and so forth. This guide is keyword searchable. So if you're after something specific, you can just type that in as well. So rental comps, you can see that pulls up. Next article will be rental rate trends. So I highly recommend you using that as well. Anyway, back to the tour. So this very first page is the dashboard. Think of this as your organizational hub for how you navigate TractIQ. So you can create different lists within this dashboard. So I can call a new list, maybe my portfolio. So you can create different lists and save any addresses, markets, or deals that you have into these lists and stay organized. This is great for managing your own pipeline, managing your active portfolio, however you want to divide and conquer, and use this as a great workflow tool for what you have going on. To add in any site to the list, it's quite easy. You can either add it from this address box here at the top. So if I just type in Dallas or maybe an actual address, I can go and add it here. Or if I'm on the map itself and I see a site or an address on the map, there is a way to add it from the map, and I will show you that later on. You can also import a CSV of bulk files that you have. So if you have a CSV with a lot of address on it, you can click on this and upload those addresses in bulk to a list. You can also build your own prospecting list. So now I've opened up this prospecting tool. You can see it has a lot of different criteria points that I can select from. The first being a statewide search or a specific address. If I do states, I have all the states automatically selected. I can deselect that and I can select one state or even multiple. And you can see this number change down here. I can only have 150 facilities in any given list, so the idea here is to be pretty specific when you're going and searching for things. The other method here is to do by address. So if I enter in an address, I can even enter in a market as an example. So I will select Austin, and then I can select a radius size. So maybe only within 10 miles or all the way up to 100, and I'll click apply. And then from here, I can decide whatever criteria points that I want to put in here. So maybe I want something operating, between 20,000 and 40,000 net rentable. I can select different facility type, climate controller none, ownership data, operations data, so REIT, non-REIT, sophisticated, website and pricing, and then even facility history. I also have this option to remove duplicates. So if I have a prospecting list that's existing and I'm building another one and there's facilities that are going to be in both, I can select that to remove the duplicate sites and just make sure that I have that one site only in one other list. From here, I can go and save this list and call it something specific. So I'll do ATX list and select an area of analysis type. And I'm going to decide on 5 miles. I'll click apply and then click create. And then from here, it will generate a list of all the sites that abide by the criteria that I set up. And there we go. So now from here, you can kind of quickly compare and contrast using these default data points that pull into the dashboard. You can customize these as well. If you want to customize, go over here and click up at the top. And then here are the data points that you can select to pull in, and you can toggle on and toggle off different things, however that suits your workflow. You can also download this list overview, and this will have all the data for all these sites within the list. The last thing that you can do here is you can either open up the Insight panel directly by clicking on one of these rows, or you can click on Open and Map, and then this will take you directly to this site within the TractIQ map. All right, now that we're on the map, you'll notice that everything is a brilliant shade of blue. I can change this base map to a couple different options. The solid blue is a data overlay on the map, which I'll walk through in a moment. And now here is the Google Street View of the map, and then the satellite imagery of the map. This blue map is currently defaulting to population density. And so the more blue an area is, the more dense, the less blue, less dense. I can change this value. So if I want to change this, I can go to change data. And now I have this whole bank of other things that I can put on the map. So if I click this drop down, you can see we have other population data points, other household data points, facility data points, saturation, and then even crime. If I wanted to adjust something, I can pick square foot per capita as an example. And now I'm looking at the map from the view of square foot per capita saturation. So now the more blue areas are more saturated, and then the less blue are less saturated. I can also change the geography level of this map as well. So right now I just changed it to county, but I can go to block group even, which is exceptionally small and granular. So I highly recommend and suggest going through this a couple times and figuring out which data points you like, and also playing with the geography level as well. Another thing that you can do to really make the map actionable is to go up here to find opportunities and find areas by criteria or facilities. This is another great way to prospect within TractIQ. So if I click on Find by Areas, I can start highlighting or taking away portions of the map that do or don't fit specific criteria. So if I click on Add Criteria, I will now have this list of things that I can start putting over this map. So first, I'm just going to throw a couple on here. I'll do population growth greater than 5%. And then maybe I'll do current number of incoming facilities, so developing sites, less than 2. And then lastly, I'll do current square foot per capita, less than 8. Great. So now you've noticed that parts of the map are now grayed out. So things that are grayed out, if I click on one of these zip codes, let me remove that menu first. If I click on one of these zip codes, it will actually tell me that I've missed a criteria point. So anything that's grayed out, it is missing at least one criteria point, and if you click on that area, it will tell you which one and by how much. Anything that remains a solid shade color is a zip code that is matching all of my criteria points. And then the ones that are grayed out are non-applicable, or we're not matching on the criteria at all. You can also adjust this map as well. So we can change the color palette if you want to view your areas in a different color. Just some more customization options there. You can also do the same logic with the facility level criteria. So the facilities are all of these pins that you see in the map. So red indicates a facility that we have pricing information on. Green is a facility, green is a facility that we have pricing information on. Red is a facility that we don't. And then yellow is a development site. If you notice, if you click on a developing site, we actually have the last update for the project and the project status. So this last update was only a couple months ago in November, and the project status is we're starting in 1 to 3 months. If I go back up to find opportunities, I can follow the same flow that we did with areas. So now I'll do it for the facilities, and I can kind of go through the same checklist. So let's say I'm looking for something that is greater than 20,000 total rentable, and maybe less than 40,000. And I'm also going to go to management type and filter out the REITs. So now when I apply these filters, look how many facilities remain in the map. Not many. We got rid of a lot. So I recommend using the find opportunities in tandem with one another. So find areas and facilities, and you can get some really, really interesting results. As you start to build out more area level filters and more maps, you can always go up here to save map to save your work and come back to it so you don't have to reset your filters every single time. So if I click on this button, I can call this map something specific and press save, and it will save it directly into my dashboard view. And you can see that right here in my maps. And I'm just going to clear these filters and we can keep going. So following along, the next feature that I want to show you is the parcel overlays. So the parcel overlays will show you the actual footprint of the property lines for the storage facilities. So as you can see, these little orange footprints that I just turned on will show you exactly that. I feel like this is best combined with the satellite imagery. So now I can view this public down here and see the plot of land that it sits on, but also the satellite view of the building itself. This is a great way to assess if this specific facility has room to expand and develop in the future. Another thing that we have stock on the map are the flood maps. And so you can see here, now the map is painted in the flood zone risk areas. So the different colors indicate risk. You can see here exactly what that risk key will tell you. And then if you click on this little eyeball button, this is a great way to get our descriptions for just about everything and also our source methodology here. So you can see our source here is FEMA. For customers that are on our Pro and Pro Plus plans, you have access to a couple more layering options with the map. Those would be the housing developments. So if I click on this, you'll notice these little bubbles pull into the map. These little bubbles represent multifamily housing developments. If I click on one of them, it will tell me about that development. So this is Rainy Tower in Austin, Texas. It's currently in the pre-construction project stage with $250 million cost, and we have 644 units. So we are tracking information just like this for all of these little dots that you see scattered in the map. Same goes for the commercial developments. So now you can see a key here, educational, industrial, financial, hotel, military, and so on and so forth. Same idea here. If I click on any one of these icons, I can see, all right, this is a restaurant, this is House Park Barbecue going up with this project cost, and it's currently under construction. If you want to remove any one of these types, you can just select from this key which ones you want to focus or not focus as well. Another thing that Pro and Pro Plus folks have access to is the additional map layers up here at the top in the Add Layers button. If I tap on this, it will open up this other bank of lots of other things that you can add in on the map. This list is very, very extensive. Some of my favorites include the things that are really pinpointing job opportunities. So things like military installations, fast food locations, dams. We also have airports, hospitals, colleges and university campuses. We also have additional environmental risk layers such as seismic hazard, wildfire potential. And then we even have things like opportunity zones. If you want to read up on any one of these layers, you can simply click on the dropdown and see a description that we have for it, as well as our source. And then if you want to add it to the map, just click this plus sign and then click add. And there you go. Now I'm looking at the map through the lens of seismic hazard. Okay. Now to talk about how we start pulling a lot of the data that TractIQ has. So in order to pull data from the map, we need to focus on a center point. So a center point can be several different things. You can either click on one of these storage facility pins and view more details, and then that will automatically bring up your 1, 3, and 5 mile radius rings. You can also go up here to your search bar and search for an address directly, or you can go to this pin dropper and click on it to add a pin anywhere in the map. And when you click on that too, notice how this pin recentered and I still have my radius rings brought up. The default for the radius will be 1, 3, and 5, as you can see up here in the top left-hand corner of this left side panel. If I click on this, I can adjust the radius. So I can deselect and reselect values. I can also go to this plus sign and add in a different radius value as well. I can go all the way up to 20 miles, or I can go and set up a drive time. All right. Another thing that you'll notice here is this save button. So if I'm exploring the map and I find any site or address that looks interesting, I can save it directly to my dashboard by pressing Save Market, and then I can add it to my portfolio list or that ATX list that I was building earlier. This right side tool is really where all of the data is housed, and we call this the Insight panel. I will walk over the core data exports with you first. So if I click on this export button, a couple things, I will see my number of exports remaining, as you can see on the dashboard page as well. And then I'll also see download buttons for all of these specific downloads. So for demographics, if I download the demographics button here, that will be a demographics report for all of the demo in the area. Square foot per capita is the square foot per capita report, so a really good index for current supply and then future supply. The storage facilities report will be a report that walks through all of the data related to storage. So the owner data, the data of if it's a climate control facility or not, if we have pricing info for the facility, the mailing address, and other things of that nature. And then for Pro and Pro Plus customers, the housing developments report is a good data piece for all of the housing data that we have for the developments in the area. So all of the data that we looked at with this card earlier for that one apartment complex, you'll have an entire raw data set for all of the data for the housing within this area. Same goes for the commercial developments. That will be a report for all of the raw data for the commercial projects. The next thing you'll notice about the Insight panel is this drop-down that says Executive Summary, and we have a bunch of different tabs for different types of data. So the Executive Summary here, if I want to expand this into its own unique web page, all I need to do is click on Analyze Deal, and now I'm viewing this in a separate web page, separate from the map, although you can view it in the map as well, just in this card form. With the Executive Summary, what you'll notice is it's tabbed out into your miles and drive time that you selected, and the Executive Summary is great for having a lot of high-level visual on a lot of the different data points that we track in some of these other categories. So some of the highlights are square foot per capita broken out into REIT and non-REIT, number of facilities, square footages, some population data, income levels, projections of new facilities coming to the area, population growth, and then also some information about your market rate per square foot. If you download the executive summary PDF, you get a wonderful almost 20-page report that is templated and branded and looks amazing. That also contains a lot of useful information. I highly recommend using that as a resource to send with other folks that you collaborate and work with, but also a great thing to send to potential lenders and financial institutions as well. If I click on the demographics page, you'll now see that we have a lot of information about demographics, population trends, growth, households, the list goes on and on and on. All these charts you can export individually if you're working on something specific, or you can download a bulk PDF explaining demographics as well. Opportunity. This is a square foot per capita themed page, so you can see we're following the trend here of breaking this up into my 1, 3, and 5 mile radiuses. You can see here we have square foot per capita information, more pop growth, and so on and so forth. Again, you're able to download all these charts individually, or you can download the bulk PDF for this as well. Rate trends. These will be charts that contain the trend analysis for rates in a given area, usually dating all the way back to 2018. If I look through here, I have this main chart here that has all units, and I can even toggle climate control and non. This chart here will be a breakdown by unit size, so I can select a different size, or I can decide on all sizes, climate and non, and then more charts down here with types of access, and then drive up. I can export all these charts individually, or a bulk PDF. And I even want to call attention to this About This Data button. You will see this littered throughout the platform extensively. We are extremely transparent here, so we wanted to give you a method that tells you exactly how this data is sourced, aggregated, and all of our definitions about essentially everything that we have here at TractIQ. Rental comps. This is the comps page that you can customize. You can see right here it is organized from the closest facility to the furthest away facilities in order from my center pin, but also it's organized by average rate, average high, average low, and then the different unit sizes here, as well as climate and non-climate breakouts. I can customize how this chart looks. If I go to the Customize button, I can now select some slightly different variables. I can select a different area. I can show rates differently, so I can do per month and per square foot if I would like. I can switch between web and street rates, different time period, different unit size mixture, and then I can even do more filtration by level and access if I want as well. I'll click apply, and now you can see I'm viewing these rates slightly differently. If I want the raw data, all I need to do is click on the export button, and I have two options. I have the rental comps clean data, and so that will be basically all of this that you see in the chart just in Excel form. Or if I am a Pro Plus customer, I can have access to the source data for rental comps, and that is all of our rental rate data in a raw data format, dating all the way back as long as we have it. In many cases, that is all the way back to 2018. And then the last page that I wanted to show y'all is, if you are a Pro Plus customer, is the operating performance page. And this will be our occupancy and financials data. And so here you can see exactly what our definition is for gathering verified occupancy from CMBS loan facilities. You can see an occupancy trend chart, the facilities that have operating performance within my area. So right now I'm looking at 5 miles. You can see which those facilities are, their total net rentable square feet, and then their last reported occupancy rates. If I go to my export, this will be the raw data download for that occupancy data. And then if you see these blue download buttons, they are quite small, but this will be detailing the financial summary of those facilities as well. Last thing that I want to show you is in TractIQ, we totally understand that there are tons of moving data points and pieces. We give you a way to alert our data team about changes or adjustments that you see fit in your own market. And I'm going to walk you through 2 different ways to tell my data team about how to make an adjustment on something. So let's say, as an example, I click on this CubeSmart. If I notice something like this total rentable square footage is slightly off from what you know to be true, you can click on this little pencil button, little icon, and then you can type in any details you want. So, is slightly off, it should be X. And then if you press send, it'll tell my team exactly what you had suggested. Same goes for if there is supply that you want us to be aware of that we currently don't list. You can click on this report missing data button right down here. Kind of hard to see, but there it is. And then you can tell us about what's happening. So if it's a storage facility, if it's a housing development, or maybe even something else, just give us the name, location, and honestly, as best you can with the rest of this information, and then press send. Goes directly to my data team, and then they will manually do all the legwork to properly vet and get it added into the system. Once something that you have suggested gets added, my data team will actually follow up with you directly, letting you know that it's live on the platform. All right, I think that about does it for this top to bottom walkthrough of all things TractIQ. Totally understand there's a lot of functionality in here, so if there's anything that myself and my team can help you do, please let me know, and we're happy to assist you. And we are here to be great partners and hope you guys win. All right, thanks so much.